Commissioner Mychek,
Here.
Commissioner Goodman and Commissioner Pelton are absent.
Are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay. Are there any public comments on agenda related items? No. Consent agenda, approval of minutes for the regular meeting of March 20th, approval of bills and disbursements for March of 2025, and financial reports for February of 2025.
I make a motion that we approve. Second.
Second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Old business. Expired inspections.
So our final score is 92.
That's
That's an
fantastic.
A.
We will still be looking at, I am working with Commonwealth on a couple things that were on the Inspire inspection. The hinges on the doors is probably the biggest one. But we will continue to look at the items that were written up on that inspection so that the spring-loaded hinges were not operating properly.
Any of them or most of them?
So we only inspected, I believe, 23 out of the 167 units. And there were quite a few that did not work properly.
They were not replaced when they did the repairs and maintenance.
They were not.
So they're.
That was
25
removed
years
from the
old or
scope.
whatever.
That was one of the items that were removed from the scope, because the whole door was projected to be replaced.
Anything else on the Inspire inspection? Update on rag conversion.
So we did issue the RFQ on the 15th, yesterday. So Mark is forwarding that, and I did send it to Tracy Davis as well. And so we will get the RFQ out. Mark wants me to post it on the NARO website. So we do have the RFQ is getting out there. It is, any questions are due by July 15th, and the proposals are due back by August 1st.
All over 3 months wait. Till we. Proposals.
Those were the dates that were in there. So that's what Mark, he told me just to change the issue date and leave everything else. So that's what we did.
Well. I guess it's okay. I kind of wanted to get a developer on board, but with the state of the politics in the United States and everything's up in the air and tariffs and everything else, I'd be very reluctant to do anything unless it was a super good deal.
And August 1st will be here before we know it.
Plus, it takes time for people to look at a project like this too, to decide whether or not they want it.
And so for your information, a rag conversion is the 47 scattered sites. We're going to replace at least 37 of them.
Like the whole inside or?
The whole building,
The whole building,
Oh,
we're building new.
brand new.
We don't know whether we're gonna build 37 new ones or whether we're gonna build 48 new ones or what we're gonna do, but that's what the conversion's gonna be.
why are you building so many? Like mine is fine. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with my place. I mean, are they that bad? They need to be replaced?
Well, they were built
Probably in the
50s, 60s.
early 50s, probably around 1950. That's a Capehart style home, so it was built in between 1950 and 1958. Something in that time was when those homes were built.
That was moved here.
When do you
And-
plan on doing that?
Probably 2 years latest, or the earliest probably.
And you're gonna be able to do all, or
Yeah.
like one or all?
Well, the plan right now is to find a site, a new site to put up the new units on. Once they're on, everyone that's in the old units will move over to the new units, and then we'll demo the old units.
City council is actually working, they have a committee that's set up to look at that specific
Okay,
request.
Hmm.
So we should know that within a couple of months as well.
and then what are you gonna do with the old property? Let's say you're gonna get rid of all those places
that-
on 12th Street. What would you do with that property? Sell it or?
We don't know that yet.
That's part of what city council is kind of deciding.
Yeah.
If they're, basically, it's probably gonna be some kind of a trade of property for property. And
Okay.
they would give us enough room for the 37 homes, and then they would take over that site and then either sell it or redevelop it some, with another developer.
Okay.
That's my guess, but
Yeah,
that committee is gonna be working on that for the next, I don't know.
You should also send one of those RFQs to, what's his name, Andrew from the chamber. Exactly,
Tracy, yeah, I sent it to Tracy and she was gonna share it with him.
she is.
Yeah.
Okay, because they're not the same organization.
Right.
Okay.
I'll make
Okay.
sure she did give it to him.
Anything else on the rag conversion? New business. Here we go, deadbolt lock project.
So I do have an updated proposal for $28,438.16 from Discount Lock and Door Services LLC. This would be for 167 deadbolt locks installed at 100% of the units at Century Terrace and Harborview. This would eliminate lockouts unless the tenant left and lost their key after they left. So it's not for the scattered sites yet, but that is something that I would like to look into at another time after we get this one underway, if we do decide this is what we want to do. But currently we do have a lot of residents within these two buildings that lock themselves out. So it's $25 the first time, $75 after that.
just found that out.
So this proposal does include 10 extra cylinders. So if, a tenant did not turn in all their keys or lost a key, we would have to do a lock change. So that,
Don't you do a lock change just as a safety between tenants?
no, because we are using a non-compromisable system. So residents,
They can't have a key made.
they cannot,
They don't have
you
the
can
black
only
dot.
through us. And we have to order it through the locksmith, so we can't make them either.
And that's a good price. That's $168 a lock. And that's drilling and installing, that is not bad at all. That's,
If it is awarded,
It's
he
not
had
just a lock, it's also the passage.
Yeah.
A new.
Lever.
yep, right. So that's a pretty good deal because you're looking at about $75 in labor per lock, and that's,
this is a grade 2 lock, which is what we currently have,
Mhm.
so it is mid-grade. He anticipated useful life, average 20 years.
I don't think that I would wait on the scattered sites. I think I would ask them for a bid on those to get them done, because we're not doing it as a matter of aesthetics or whatever. We're doing it as a matter of safety. We want our residents to be safe.
and if you would give us the same $168 per lock.
Right.
Just ask him if you can add 37 more to the contract.
47.
47 more to the contract.
What do you think would be cheaper? I mean, since you're adding more?
Well, now hold it, because on the scattered sites, they have a front door and a back door.
True.
So do you just put a deadbolt on one door, or do you put a deadbolt on both doors?
You would do it both if you're going to do it.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, yeah, maybe it would
So
have to re-look, recaught that, then I guess.
Okay, so I can bring that to the May meeting.
But if everyone's happy with this for CPHB, I'd entertain a motion
once we open the Riverside meeting.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
all
pardon
next meeting.
Okay. We'll do that in Riverside because we can't do it on a public funds. Okay, there is no presentation or discussion, reports of communications. Laurie, you're up.
So I want to confirm the meeting for May. Did we make an official decision?
I thought we did the 21st or the
22nd, that's
To
what we
move
have
it.
on the minutes and the announcement.
So I just wanted to
Right, what did you-
confirm that, I can't remember us actually making a motion to move the meeting.
Yep, it's,
Yeah.
Okay,
So.
May-
22nd?
it's A under, the minutes. Reports and communication and,
Just move the week.
move the new.
Okay.
Oh,
And I thought I already wrote down that one day, so that's why I wanna make sure of it, so.
okay, so,
so yes, that's official.
okay, so 9 a.m. on the 22nd. Okay, cable TV, I just want to give you a quick update on that. The 23rd at 1 o'clock, I have a Zoom meeting with Charter Spectrum, which is Tori, the representative from Charter we have been working with, and then her director. So I will be meeting with them to get more questions answered. It's still about 50-50. We have a lot of residents that are saying, would you guys please get that going because my bill's, $150 and I would really like you guys to get this bulk agreement going. And then we have the other half of the people that are coming and saying, I hope you guys don't do that because I'm only paying $30 and I want to be able to keep a lower rate. So you're gonna make some people happy and you're gonna disappoint others. But I will have more information after this meeting on the 23rd.
I guess the question would be, is there a way for the people who are only paying their lower rate to maintain that, since it's already been, that rate has been established by the government, isn't it? Isn't that
Yeah, but the government is not paying that rate anymore.
okay?
That program has ended, the government didn't fund it. The federal government. My feeling on it is that unless it's a super good deal, I'm against it. And I do not want to give Charter an exclusivity on just a normal deal. That's where I stand on it right now.
And that was a long term, right? Wasn't it like 10 years? I think
5
5 years.
to 8, dependent on which option we chose.
Because I think information technology is continuing to get faster and cheaper. And to agree to something that increases the rate every year. And not any more performance. And given Charter and exclusivity, I don't think it's worth it.
Well, I also would like to add that I spoke to Alex from Commonwealth. And they are working with some agencies that offer internet services to give them a rate on all their properties. So, he's gonna provide more information on that too, so that might be an option as well.
Because if you
But
have
what you
internet,
have to remember is we're in Michigan, no one comes up here.
well, they might though, if you're banging on 10,000 units.
They have a new property in Grand Rapids now that they manage, the Commonwealth manages as well.
There
good
are
partner.
other, broadband internet companies in the area. I can think of Point Broadband is one. There's a new one out of, Coldwater is another that's very interested in doing these two buildings because it's 167 captive units. And all you have to do is run a wire to two buildings. And then connect to a high-speed internet line out on 31. So I'm nervous about giving an exclusivity to Charter for something that only had a tenants one. And it would be nice to even include our scattered sites.
I pay $50 right now for my internet. That's not cable or anything, just internet through Spectrum.
Mhm.
For
Is
1
it
year.
fast,
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
it's high speed?
I didn't get the cheapest one and I didn't get the highest one. I got like the one in between.
Okay, the mini splits, I did ask for an update on that, and they still are working on numbers and different options. So they have not been able to make a determination on whether we can approve the mini splits or not. But I would think by next meeting that hopefully they're far enough along that they can make a determination on
I
whether.
would love to see that.
So we're still working on that. I am looking at hiring another full-time maintenance person. I'll be meeting with the personnel committee regarding that. So, there's a possibility that we will be getting another maintenance person, which then we would eliminate contracting out, the cleaning services and,
That's become very expensive.
painting and things like that. $600 a week is what we're currently paying to clean these two buildings. So we would not be contracting out as much of the services as we do now if we were to hire on. And then I believe Kevin plans on retiring in about 2.5 years. So it'd be nice to get someone to start learning his position as well. So we will be looking into that. And we are finally getting the April newsletter out today to the CTHV residents. We've been kind of short-staffed, and with spring break, we weren't able to get it out until today. We are going to have a fire drill in these two buildings next Wednesday
You already had one over there
at
last.
2 o'clock.
Did you?
Yeah. What was that, Tuesday?
Yeah,
One of the residents burnt a pan.
he said he forgot he had the burner on and he went to lay something down and it caught on fire. I didn't hear what he said.
And then he
laid down.
threw it in the garbage chute.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was Charlie.
And so all the hallway alarms went off as well. So the whole building alarms went off.
Well, it's a good fire drill, so you got,
Yeah.
could
Hey,
take
you
credit
know,
for a
yeah.
fire drill.
Right, you just need to do Harper View now.
So yeah, so we will be doing the fire drill. So during the renovations, we did get an upgraded brand new fire alarm system at Century Terrace, but not at Harbor View. So someday we may
I
want
take
to
it that
look
was,
into that.
That was taken out of the scope of work.
It was, so
Yeah.
the last, the
I'm
fire,
sure we got a record of that too.
so the first fire drill that I did, there were a lot of the sirens that were not working properly. They were just like, "Boo." So I did have all those replaced. So and then we did do another drill after that, and they seemed to all be working, but I am anxious to do another fire drill in this building because it is an older system, to make sure that all the alarms are working
Yeah.
as they should be. So that will be next week. We are closed for Good Friday on this
Tomorrow.
Friday. So yes, so the office will be closed tomorrow. And I believe that is the end of my update.
Okay. I do not believe there are any committee reports. Mick and I haven't met. Financials and Karen and Ginny aren't here, so. Commissioner reports or comments. Mick, do you want to start that?
I don't really have anything other than I'm glad that we're finally gonna work on the deadbolts. I think that's an important project, so.
Alls I have, or go ahead, Sue, do you have anything at all?
No, not really, not today.
Yeah, you're the new member, this is your first. We had our presentation to City Hall since our last meeting, went very well, it was very well received. At least I thought it was.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, you got a lot of praise for the work that you've done since you've been here. So
Thank you.
It was-
And I still want to go on and watch it.
it was noted and appreciated.
So that's all I had. Received communications. President Commissioner appointment email dated April 2nd. Housing Commission, Commissioner roster, and the 2025 Building Michigan Communities Conference.
So, welcome,
Thank
Commissioner
you.
Mycheck. We are
And after the fact now.
we are very pleased to have you. So yeah, this is just the email from the city, stating that, the term will end May 31st of 2029.
Yeah, that's what she told me.
And then, yeah, and then I do have the roster there. The commissioner email, Vallejo was working on that this week.
Can't get into my email.
Okay, did you try this one? At the
I
top
did.
of the roster, I have the new email address on there. Okay, so that's your new one. So it's just commissioner@manisteehousing.com, and you will all have access to this email.
Okay, and the password's in the roster.
No, because they were just working on it this week.
Okay.
So I believe one of you will need to go in and set that up unless I do. Do you want to try and get in and set it up?
Go ahead.
Okay. Will do.
I used to be really knowledgeable in technology, but anymore it's like, I don't have the patience.
No problem. And then yeah, and then you have the Housing Commission roster, so I just updated the terms for that, which I believe it's at the May 7th meeting, the city council will be discussing the term that's currently expiring, which is Commissioner Goodman's term expires 5/31/2025.
So Karen has reapplied for that?
Yes,
Has anybody else applied?
as of today, no. I believe the applications are due April 29th for that position.
Mayor's the one that makes the appointment. Council has to approve.
Yes, so it is, if you go to the city's website, they have posted that the position is available.
Okay.
So they have received, as of today, they received one application from Commissioner Goodman to be reappointed if the board chooses to do so. And then I did print off the 2025 Building Michigan Communities Conference, which President Fosdick will be attending along with Commissioner Goodman and Commissioner Pelton. Because Commissioner Szymanski, that does not work with your schedule.
Exactly. I won't be back until late on the 14th, so.
Okay. And then if,
Sorry.
Commissioner Mycheck, if you are interested in attending this conference in Lansing, let me know. I am keeping my eye out for a commissioner, training for you. But if you are interested in this one, let me know. Otherwise, the other commissioners could update you when they return from
Okay.
and that's why we moved the May meeting. Is because they'll be at this conference.
So this is on the 14th or the 15th?
Both. So if you look at do you see the schedule at a glance?
Mhm.
So it shows you the different trainings that you can go to, different presentations that you can go to on the 14th. And then on the 15th, it looks like it starts. And just let me know, I put in there the hotel accommodations. So please let me
Oh, I
know
did see that in here.
if you would
I was
like
going through
the
there.
accommodation. So Thursday, May 15th, they do also have some presentations. There's asset management, community and economic development, homeownership finance and development, rental finance and development.
So the 14th or the 15th, which is a better day.
Friday does end at 1 after lunch. So actually, definitely, I would say Wednesday will have, it'll be,
That's why.
if you're
I
only gonna
canceled
attend
yours.
one day, I would just go Wednesday.
Okay.
But you're
Yes.
welcome to stay
I can
go
only
2
go-
nights and go to both. Okay, well, let me know if you would like to stay Tuesday night, Steve, and I can get that booked. So that you're
No.
there in the morning.
No, I can't.
You're gonna drive down in the morning?
Then
Yeah.
come back.
Okay. Alrighty, so
First
that,
time my EV, I'm charging.
so that is the end of the
Have you got it running out?
communications.
Okay, vacancy report.
So as of today, we have 1 unit vacant in this building, 1 unit at CT, so we have 2 for Century Terrace and Harborview, and then we actually have 4 in our public housing. We have
We
a
have tenants,
2 2-bedrooms, a 3-bedroom, and a 4-bedroom, and we do have, yeah, we do have wait lists.
so have we already started to bring people into them? So they're just turnovers, right?
They are, yeah,
So they're really not vacancies per se.
right. The first unit, 4-bedroom, the family was transferred to a 2-bedroom. Family downsized, so they only needed a 2-bedroom, so we did transfer to allow that 4-bedroom to be renovated for a larger family. 3-bedroom, the resident actually purchased a home, so that was huge, yeah. So home ownership for the 3-bedroom.
That should be a little celebration,
Yeah,
honestly, because that's the goal.
yep, the 327 6th Street, that family relocated. And then 1703.5 Vine, that was due to inability to live independently any longer. So,
How, what, the condition okay? I mean, we're gonna have any significant repairs?
not like we've had in the past.
Okay.
Someone.
But they will need completely painted. And to see, the other thing I need to look into too is, the percent of handicap units that we're required to have. So, one of the units, we did have a person that was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
So there is some damage from that, but it wasn't a handicap unit because we didn't have a barrier for unit to offer that person at the time. So when, I know there's a certain percent that we're required to have for 504 compliance with public housing. When the 167 units here were with the 47 scattered units, that was as a whole, you had to have a certain percent. Now that they're separate, I only know of 1 unit that we have that's actually truly handicap accessible. So I will need to look into that. Yes, so I need to make sure that we're in compliance with that.
Sure.
We have the double house or the duplex that was built in 19 or 2019 or whatever, isn't that?
17, that is one of these. So yes, actually,
On both sides, handicap?
that could be, so that's what I'm gonna confirm that we do have the required amount. I know for sure we have the 1, but actually those 2 may also be, Steve, you may be
The
right.
biggest expense is gonna be your doors.
Yeah, I do know 1703 has the 36-inch doors. I do know that.
We do have the doors?
And 1703.5.
Okay, so that's really, the rest is just cutting out the cabinets in the bathroom and the sink in the kitchen. That is not a major overhaul, but.
But now would be the time to do it while it's vacant.
Yeah.
So I know it has the right, so this one, yeah, we may be looking at,
But the other thing to keep in mind is if you're gonna replace any units in 2 to 3 years, we don't want to get too much involved.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's why I was thinking that, because you're looking at about $600 to $700 a door. You have to replace them.
But overall, it's still, I feel like it's still a good vacant unit report.
And I think, something to keep in mind when we look at, new housing is that all front doors, whether they're ADA or normal, should be 36.
36. When we build a Habitat home, we build the hallways and the doorways all to ADA. We don't do the sinks or or the bathroom counters unless we know that there's gonna be somebody ADA coming into the home. Because that's really not a major retro.
But the inside interior doors are all 36 inches, yes?
Even the bathroom. The only things that are not are the closets. I mean, you know, like the hall closets and things, but anything that they enter, they're 2-hour burn, 36-inch doors. And that way, you're for the little bit of difference when you're constructing to go from a 32 to a 36 is it's worth
Well,
making sure
most
you
interior
got.
doors are 30-inch.
Yeah, 30 or 32.
And
I like 32.
And 32 is kind of the oddball size.
Right.
And I can remember a lot of bathroom doors being 20 inches or 24 inches.
So that is probably not a bad idea, because that way, you know, you're assured of having access. Because the reality is that anybody can end up having to be wheelchair bound for a period of time.
Mhm.
My wife is a good example when she broke her hip. And just fortunately, we lived in a house where the doorways were old and wide.
So I will confirm if we are in compliance with 504. I want to say it's 5%. I'll see what the most recent regulation states, but I want to say it's 5% of your units. So we have 47 units.
So that would be 2.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And if those two are the duplexes, and then I know we have another 1 bedroom that has a roll-in shower. So
Newsletter.
yeah, I kind of updated you on that.
Okay. And resident council minutes. We don't have a representative from the resident council here,
Minutes are here.
but we have the minutes.
And they were supposed to have a meeting yesterday, but they had a lack of a quorum. So their next meeting will be May 20th. But they are still active. We do have a resignation from Tammy Alkire resigning from the rec director effective May 1st. She just said she's busy. So I did talk to the president about looking for another rec director for Century Terrace. Connie will still do Harbor View. Not to my knowledge.
You know if there was any resolve of the tree limb issues for Century Terrace?
I do know that Kevin's reached out to Thompson and he did just finish up when we did the walkthrough before on all the trees that we wanted cut.
Mhm.
Those were just done last week. So Kevin also, asked him to look at these and give us a quote on those. So I have not received a quote though.
Okay.
But great timing, Tammy. We just talked about
Yeah.
resigning as the rec
Yeah,
director.
you put in my notice, come the 1st of June, I'm stepping down as recreation director. But I'm still staying on the board.
Good.
And we appreciate all your hard work.
Yeah. I've been trying to correct all the other residents on their posting and getting together with the board, with the office when it comes to their events. I have a life outside the building and I want to enjoy it.
Wait a minute.
Who told you you could do that?
Myself and I.
Okay, we're at public comments. Do you have any public comments, Tammy?
Yes, there's a few residents over there about this, can't think of the word now. Where you come and go out of the entrance, the
Foyer?
foyer. But there's a metal piece that's catching people's attention when they're coming and going that's in wheelchair.
Oh, we can just do a work order on that.
Yeah. Well, I've been telling the residents, don't tell me, go to the meetings.
Well,
Which
just
building?
call the office.
CT,
The Century Terrace.
Just call the office.
oh, that's it.
The what?
Russ.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
threshold, the door threshold.
Yeah,
Yeah, it probably just needs secured. I can have Kevin look at it. Anything else?
No, that's it.
In case you missed it, we are gonna go into Riverside meeting next to approve deadbolt locks on all Century Terrace.
Did that get approved?
We're going to do it here at Riverside meeting
Cool.
in about 5 minutes.
I just got the odds and ends.
Yep.
I said, Gary, you know, we do need to have one of us board members over here for the meetings.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Okay, without anything else, do we have any announcements or of upcoming meetings? Well, the next commission meeting will be on the 22nd, not on the 15th, but it'll be moved to the 22nd of May at Central Terrace. With that, I
Make a motion, we adjourn.
So I caught it good timing then.
second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries. Now.
Do I need to say for this one or no?
You can.
You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause I was gonna go home and go crawl back in bed.
I'd like to call to order the Riverside Housing Incorporated meeting for April 17, 2025. It is now 10:35,
9:35.
or pardon me,
9:35.
9:35,
9:38.
9:38. Lori, could you take roll call?
Commissioner Skamansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Mycheck,
Yes.
President Fosdick,
Yes. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay, I need an approval of minutes.
well, can we add the,
Deadbolts. I make a motion that we add the deadbolt locks approval to the minutes. Under new business. Would be,
Do I have a second?
I'll second
All in favor?
aye,
it.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, approval of minutes for January 16th and February 20th. And checks and disbursement. Is this a consent agenda here?
yes,
So I need a consent to approve the meeting minutes for January 16th of 2025, February 20th of 2025, and the checks and disbursements for Riverside Corporation. For Riverside Housing.
I'll make that motion.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed, motion carried. There being no old business. New business, appointment of Commissioner Stu Mytek.
Congratulations.
thank you.
They're now on the Riverside Housing Board.
so I think we need a motion to appoint her to the Riverside
I'll
Board.
make a motion that we approve or we appoint Susan Mycheck to the Riverside Board.
I can't second.
I think she can.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
I
second
think
your own.
Commissioner Mycheck can.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And number 2 that was just added to the agenda is the funding for the deadbolt locks for Century Terrace and Harbor View. Tune of
28,300 and
$28,438.16.
do I have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Reports of communications, financial report for February 2025. And we might as well go right into director comments and discussion. If you have any,
No comments. What, will you guys do a motion on the financial reports though, please?
Oh, you need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the financial report.
Like that,
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. Are there any director comments or discussion?
None.
None being there, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion
Would you like to make that motion?
to adjourn the meeting.
do I have to say I second that? Is that-
No, you say. you'd
No,
like
you're
to
gonna
make a
make a motion.
So what do I have to say?
Say, I make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make motions to adjourn the meeting?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Good job.
Motion carried.
Thanks.
Glad to see that we're finally gonna get done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me too, I'll be
It's been
done.
a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so what's all of this?
This is all you for, you can kind of look at these.
Every one of these
I
things.
thought we were going through every. single
Oh,
page.
normally,
Okay.
unless you get an electronic version of it. in
Yeah, she
advance.
said that, and I had no clue what I was looking at.
So,
Okay.
basically, we looked, most of this is where we spent the money. It's